Hey guys, I'm Becky and welcome back to my channel. So sorry that there has been such a delay on getting any videos out. I have been a little bit under the weather and finally am starting to get my voice back, so hopefully it will last this entire video. We'll try and make it short for that. As far as September goes, it has been a fantastic month for me. It was more of a recovery, recharge, spend time with friends and family. In fact, I didn't have a free weekend where I didn't spend time with family or friends. And I actually ended up making 2 trips to the other side of the state to go spend time with my newest little nephew and then all of my family for one of those. So it's been a great month and I ate way too much good food and didn't work it off at all. One of the things that I want to highlight from August is the post that I wrote about mental health in the workplace. If you haven't taken a look at that, I highly recommend that you do. It's a very personal post for me. It's something that I'm very passionate about, and I think a lot of people need to be made aware that having those thoughts and those feelings and all of those emotions is completely normal and just fine. So if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and take a look at it if you already haven't. I've also been doing a lot of work on the career side of what this website, what this blog is going to be on, and I'm very, very excited about that. I have not gotten the podcast up and running. I took way too much free time, but my goal is to have that running at the very beginning of November and jump into that 2 episodes a month, just talking with people about their experiences in their careers. As far as the stock market, my portfolio is a long-term dividend growth strategy where I focus mainly on real estate and the finance sectors, which provide the majority of my dividend income. I've had a couple of people reach out to me this past month about the volatility of the market and what that looks like for them and their own portfolios, and to be completely honest, that's completely normal. It's not anything that I'm really concerned about as far as up and down with market value, and it's to be expected. To kind of give some context for that, I wanted to take a look at Apple stock, which most people are pretty familiar. They have the Apple, the iPhone, the iPod, the iPad, whatever that might look like. So I want to break it down into a couple different ways of looking at this. So the first one is going to be a day of trading with 3-minute intervals. So we can see that the stock price is down and then back up and then down and down throughout the day. It's pretty relatively up, down, with a slight downward trend. And then we look at a month time frame, and the up, down is not quite as clear, but there is a very clear downward trend with a lot of negative red that show that the price is declining on this. But then we look at 3 months, and that downward trend is not as clear as it was. It shows the stock price was steady, and then it was increasing, and then it dipped, and it could potentially already be increasing again. But when you look at Apple stock for the past 5 years, we see a relatively clear picture. The stock has gained in value substantially over the last 5 years. There have been some big dips with COVID and supply chain shortages, but overall the trend is good. Meaning the little movements that you're seeing day to day are not that significant. They don't show us the full story, and we should never make a decision solely off of that chart on a day-to-day basis. You should be examining the entire picture of what the stock's long-term value is, what the finance is, what the data is on it, essentially on the back of it. So never rush into a stock without having that full information before you. So as far as my own personal portfolio, my stock total decreased from $29,000 to $28,600. I did have some technical issues with my brokerage account, and I was unable to invest my own funds, and we had to work through that and figure out what the kink was. But we got that all sorted out, and I'm ready to go in the very beginning of October. And so I have just under $200 ready to be reinvested into my portfolio. And so reevaluating the cash I have on hand, my overall investments is just over $28,800. So in September, I earned close to $80 in just dividends returns, and I'm expecting October to be another triple-digit $100 month. My top earners were ticker symbol AVGO, ESC, and SO. SO has been one of my favorite companies that I've been investing with for quite a few years now. As far as side hustles, I did work a little bit with lime skidders, not very much, but a little bit. I had a gross earnings of almost $40 and then a net earnings of just over $25. So for a couple hours work, I'm pretty happy with that. All in all, September was a pretty good month for me as far as the volatility of the market and the amount of time that I put into doing side hustles. So my photography business. I have put in a lot of time working on my photography. I finally designed and settled on a calendar for 2022 and then redesigned it, and then pushed it out again. So that involved narrowing down the pictures that I was going to use, reviewing the pictures that I was going to use, talking to people, and then going back and adding in pictures, finding the right grouping in the calendar so they weren't as repetitive of what we were showing, and then trying to determine how many I should order in bulk and what the pricing is that I plan on selling them to make that, essentially make that cost, that earnings amount from it. So it's not as easy as it looks. Been back and forth on a lot of this. Is my first year that I'm putting out a calendar, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to do really well. So here's a sneak peek of the cover of my 2022 calendar. I'll put a link down below on where you can go ahead and purchase that if you're interested in it. It is available now. I think with any new product that you're putting out, any new business venture that you're taking, there's always the risk that you're going to lose money, and that is a big risk with this. I could have potentially ordered too many calendars and I won't have the ability to sell them all. There won't be enough interest in it yet, and I could potentially lose money that way. Or maybe my pricing is too high and people are going to go for a lower costing calendar. Can't hold it against them. Or maybe my pricing isn't high enough and I'm undercutting myself. So it's just a little bit of back and forth, and I might end up playing with the price ratio as we move further into the next year. The good news is I've already have people that have pre-ordered calendars, so I already have guaranteed sales on a couple of them. Mom, thank you. But it's good. I'm very excited about that. You can feel free to check out my photography portfolio. I have it on my website, just different pictures that I've taken of areas that I've gone to. And then I've been working on building up a small YouTube channel, just basically showing those experiences so people can see them that might not be able to go and experience that. So home updates. I said in my last update, my last monthly update, that I was going to work really hard on building a holder for my truck camper shell. I have done that, and I was going to work on finishing painting my gym, and luckily I was able to do both of those this month. So here's the pictures of my camper shell holder and the process it did. I got the camper shell for free. Very happy with that find. The holder thingy, because we're going to call it that, I put together for just about $65 for all the lumber. I had screws and all that stuff. So I'm pretty happy with the cost and the way that it turned out. I think it's going to be a good long-term storage for that, and I can get it off and on my truck by myself without any help. And then I had a surprise project fall into my lap. We had a really bad windstorm a couple of weeks ago, and one of my neighbor's very large, slightly dead, slightly alive trees actually fell over, crashed on the fence and then onto my shed and onto my deck, and primarily took up a good section of my yard. I've had quite a few people offer to help me, and had some people come over and bless me with their time and their energy and their chainsaws to be able to chop down a large portion of it. My neighbors are working on taking over the big pieces that are left now. They're going to bring in a professional. There's actually another large tree in the back that they're going to take down at the same time so that we don't have another risk, because it is a high risk for a fall. So I think this is a great example of why it's important to have an emergency fund built up. Luckily I didn't need to dip into that for this, but if there would have been more damage, I do have a $1,000 deductible on my insurance, so I would have had to dip into that a little bit for this if I needed to. So here's what I want to focus on in October. So with all the projects that I've been working on and all the time that I've spent with family and friends, I've really neglected working on the podcast. So I pushed that back. My goal to have an episode out and for the public is November 2nd. That's a Tuesday. Big goal. Don't know if I'm going to make it. I'm going to try my best to hit that. I've spent a lot of time breaking down how I think I want them to flow, the podcast, the episodes themselves, and interacting with people. Still trying to work out some kinks with audio and trying to get that all set up. And I haven't settled on a name yet. I'm not sure on that one, so we'll see. Hopefully I get something figured out. But as of right now, Podcast No Name is a green go. And so that is one of the biggest things I'm going to be focusing on. But we'll see where this ride takes us. Hopefully I get it all squared away and up and running and ready to go beginning of November, and I can smooth sail and start talking to people and interacting with people and really start bringing that information to people. So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for how this calendar is going to do for my photography business and just in general. So I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a great month. Bye!